Welcome to Cult Macabre, a phantasmagoric guide to pop culture's dark side. I'm Richie.
And I'm Lee.
And today, we're kicking off the month of October with Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Happy 1 year anniversary to Cult Macabre, by the way.
Absolutely. We started our journey 1 year ago this month.
We are very happy to still be bringing you guys videos and episodes, and we have the whole next season and then some planned out, and we think it's going to be some good shit. I'm very excited.
I am too, and something that we're starting this year, and it's going to be kind of an annual tradition in honor of us starting this journey in October. We're going to go weekly from now all the way through the end of December. So anytime it's spooky season, we're including Thanksgiving and the Christmas holiday seasons because there are Christmas slashers abound.
I don't know about you, but I love holiday horror films. Those are some of my favorites. So it's the best time of the year for it. Why the hell not just go balls to the wall?
And we're going to go balls to the wall right now. And I know some of you out there are sitting there thinking, well, you had like the entire franchise to choose from. Why did you pick Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? And I'm going to tell you why we picked Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is because it gets a lot of unjust hate. And honestly, I have seen this movie have a lot of really positive reappraisal over the last probably 10, 15 years. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I used to be on the fuck Season of the Witch train. And then I, got older. Like whenever I was younger, I looked at this movie in the context of, oh my God, it's a third entry in the Halloween franchise. Where's Michael Myers? Then I got older. And by older, I mean like when I started reaching like my late 20s, I was like, you know what? I need to sit and watch this and give it like my honest attention. And I found that I highly enjoyed this movie. It was released in 1982, and it was originally supposed to be the follow-up to the first Halloween because John Carpenter envisioned the Halloween franchise being an anthology series, but executives were like, oh man, Michael Myers, make a sequel to the first one. So they did that, and then he was like, well, let's go with this. And unfortunately, it was kind of too little too late because people were hooked on Michael Myers and not with, every Halloween it's something different. It could have been a sci-fi movie, a thriller, a slasher. And I'm not saying this is what happened, but at least in my opinion, the movies that Carpenter has done since then, like after this, he's done Christine, Prince of Darkness, They Live, stuff like that. And I kept thinking, you know what? What if those movies had fallen under the Halloween umbrella as the anthology? That may be him being like, well, here's the movies that I would have done. You know what I mean?
And they very likely could have been and then became, movies that ended up standing on their own 2 feet. I think it was definitely jarring for people to get 2 movies with Michael Myers and then not. Although I will argue that Michael Myers does, on a technical level, show up in this film. On a technical level.
Yeah.
And I will say that this movie did make money. I want to say at least double its budget, if not more. I want to say 14 million. Is that right?
Yeah, it made almost 15 million. But here's the thing: at the time, it was the poorest performing Halloween movie. Like it made money, but it didn't make as much as the other two. So Everybody was just like, "Oh, well, we need to like reevaluate what we're doing with this franchise," which resulted in the 1988 Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. However, we're not talking about Michael Myers. We're going to talk about this standalone cult film, because this does have a cult following, and for good reason. Now, if it's not a slasher, like people look at Halloween as a franchise and like, this is a slasher.
Sure.
This movie is what I would consider to be a science fiction pod thriller kind of like a pod movie is like people may not be familiar with that terminology. I mean pod as in terms of like people being a pod for alien invasion or some type of like robotic invasion, which this movie deals with the supernatural, the occult, and robots in a sense. Like there are planted robots that replace humans, and this is very much in the vein of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I should bring up earlier when I was talking about the other movies that Carpenter had done, I brought up Christine. Very aware that's a Stephen King adaptation, but nonetheless, Halloween 3 definitely left the slasher genre behind, and it's more of witchcraft sci-fi. It wound up being directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who he worked on the first 2 Halloween films and then was like, hey, I think I want to take a stab at directing this, no pun intended. and John Carpenter was like, cool, I'll score it. Which we should say the opening of this movie features, it's obviously Carpenter.
Yeah, he's got a very definitive style, and it is instantly recognizable, if nothing else.
Yeah, and what I enjoyed is even throughout this movie, there are callbacks to the original score of the first 2 films, and it's so futuristic sounding. Now, granted, this is 1982, so everybody was like, oh my God, the synthesizer is the future. And, there are a couple of people that were like, hey, the synthesizer is the sound of the future. One of those people being Giorgio Moroder. So that was still being ushered in.
Can we take a second and appreciate the Silver Shamrock jingle? Because I think every time we watch this movie, we are humming or singing or referencing that jingle for days before and after.
Yeah, absolutely. The Silver Shamrock theme is prominent throughout the entirety of this movie, and it is a central character because we were like, what the fuck? Like, when you first see this, you're like, what the fuck is Silver Shamrock? Well, Silver Shamrock may come off as just a name, but it actually means more than that. Because as we find out later on in the film, the plot of this movie actually ties all the way back to Gaelic and Irish roots of Samhain. So let's get into the movie proper. We open, it's Saturday. I should note, this movie is hilarious in a lot of ways that are unintentional. But I think that's the charm of this, where they're like Saturday the 23rd or Sunday the 24th. It's like the dates jump so much. How movies are like, 2 weeks later, but that doesn't happen until maybe 30, 40 minutes in. This happens every 10 minutes.
It's a very quickly paced movie. The front half of it, I feel like, goes by a little bit faster than the back half of it. But yeah, they start you several days before Halloween, and it's essentially a countdown until Halloween Day, both with the song and with the, what would you call that? The title flashing across for every day.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just it's a marker. That's all. That's
marker,
all I would look at it as being, as a marker, and it's hilarious. But it's Saturday the 23rd. We open in Northern California, and there is a shop owner by the name of Harry Grimbridge, and he's running and he's holding on to this jack-o'-lantern mask, and these men are chasing him, and this is all over that Carpenter score, which is it already sets the tone of holy shit, that we're getting right into something happening. And he goes to this gas station, like a tire center or something. It's just it's nighttime.
It's like a junkyard?
Yeah.
Maybe a combination of all three.
Dude, yeah. It's the gas station, tire salon, and barbershop combo. Maybe
Boys gas station.
Maybe a pizza joint's next door. We don't know. But anyway, he falls down. He's like, oh, they're going to kill us all. They're going to kill us all. And he passes out. And then they... I should notice that's literally, as they're chasing this guy, I forgot to mention, there's one of the guys chasing him gets crushed by a car so fucking, but it's so gentle. It's
the slowest car roll ever.
I think the dude that got ran over in Austin Powers by the steam crusher, the steamroller, probably had more impact than this, truthfully.
Crushing his hope and dreams right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but the way he gets hit, he just, and he just falls back. He just
crumples, yeah. Just
But anyway, it's literally 1 hour later. The gas station scene happens, and we've seen the Stonehenge gets mentioned on television, and that comes back later.
That is an important thing to know. My first time watching this movie, which was about 2 years ago, I think, I remember getting to the end and being like, oh, I actually do remember that from the beginning of the movie. They pretty much told you right up front what was going on.
You had that, bruh. But yeah, Harry passes out at the gas station, and the Silver Shamrock commercial was on television as well, because the gas station attendant is watching TV, and it's one of very many Silver Shamrock commercials that come on.
Between the flashing imagery, which that actually gets me, I'll find myself literally staring at this on the screen in the movie, and I'm like, damn.
Watch. Yeah.
Watch the magic pumpkin.
And then we're introduced to Dr. Chalice, who is played by Tom Atkins. Several people I know would look at this as Daddy Atkins.
Daddy Atkins.
Yeah. So he's introduced, and we find out very quickly that he is a dad who is very obviously separated from his wife or his ex.
And an alcoholic, I believe.
Dude, look, I'm not going to lie. I would drink my ass off if I had to be married to her too. Jesus fuck.
Oh my gosh, the second he steps foot in the door, he tries to do something nice for his kids by bringing them these Halloween masks that he picked up for them. And they're like, oh, Mom already got us some. They're Silver Shamrock. And she looks at him and goes, yeah, nice try. Bitch, it's so rude. At least he tried.
Should be of note that his wife is actually Nancy Kyes, known professionally as Nancy Loomis. She is the person who plays Annie Brackett in the original Halloween.
Oh, I did not recognize that. Awesome.
Yeah, they gave her that housewife hairdo. I don't mean that as a compliment. They made her look older, like in a bad way.
Aged her.
They made her look like the fucking lame mother that she is in this movie.
Yikes.
Because yeah, like you mentioned, he got these fucking masks for his kids. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do something nice. He's an on call. We should say that. Like he's like a
doctor at a hospital.
Yeah, but he's on call. Like that dude is constantly working.
And you can tell that the wife really resents that. The kids are just excited to see their dad, but the wife is clearly pissed. Ex-wife? Question mark?
Nah, who the fuck knows? I mean, she shares his last name, but even still, it's like, okay. But he's like, oh, here's masks. And they're like, cool. Dad, we already got masks, the silver shamrock mask. And it kind of sets the stage right there for, you know, a little bit of the anxiety that Dan goes through. Dr. Dan Chalice goes through later on in this movie. He immediately gets called in to the hospital. And it is because of what we just experienced at the opening of this movie. The guy gets brought in from the gas station and Chalice looks him over. And then the commercial comes on and wakes the guy. And he's like, oh, they're coming to kill us. They're going to kill all of us. And the dude that brought him in is like, yeah, I don't know. I just brought him here. That's all I know. And it's like my daddy always said, if somebody's in trouble, you help them.
Can I go?
Yeah, can I go now?
Is it okay to leave?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's something bad going to happen, can I go? Is something bad going to happen? He was really like, please let me just get the fuck out of here. Because that dude had his entire night planned. He looked like he had a good crossword puzzle going in his newspaper. He had a couple stacks of nudie mags on. I don't know, he really did, but I'm just saying if it was me. He had like a fucking stack of nudie mags right there.
TV rolling, foot
kicked up, not a soul in sight. And he's like, you know what, man? This night shift going by so fast and it's going to be comfy. But now he's got to deal with this shit. Should also note that one of the dudes chasing the guy that was brought into the hospital is played by Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in the second Halloween.
So, you know, he was technically in the movie.
Dick Warlock, a.k.a. Penis Wizard.
Penis Wizard. I'm not sure which one sounds better. Warlock sounds more powerful somehow.
Fuck it, Cock Warlock.
Cock Warlock. Weenie Wizard.
That's it. Shit. Motherfucker. So anyway, they wheel the guy into the room, like he's in a hospital room and he's out because I think they sedate him or whatever, and he's just in there. So one of the men in suits comes in and he plays a little game of got your nose with this guy, like real hard.
I think he takes that game a little bit too seriously, considering he pretty much just reaches down and grabs it and decides he's not going to let go. And
dude, but the way he does it though, it's like the dude is just laying there taking this and he's like gripping the blanket and he's like, what the fuck? Like he wakes up to this guy just holding his forehead and he's gloved and he just grabs the bridge of his nose and just crunches it up.
Yeah, I think he's like covering his mouth so he can't scream or something like that. Yeah, I mean, maybe he was just there to help him with his sinus issue, but I think he took it a little bit too far. And then he got by the nurse. She walks in on him and he's like trying to wipe blood off on the curtain after just having killed the patient. She screams. He completely, they give the impression that he just completely ignores her and walks totally out of the hospital. Nurse freaks out. She's running around looking for the doctor, who she finds. And they run out of the hospital after this man just in time to see him pouring gasoline all over himself inside of a vehicle and then self-immolating immediately.
There goes the car. I'm not shitting you. There's an explosion. Just that right there.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're all just staring at it like, what? Was he on drugs?
Right, there was like the reaction was so uneventful.
Right.
Like, Chalice is just looking. You know what actually reminds me of? Fucking Chalice is standing there looking at it. Do you remember that fucking episode of South Park, the volcano episode?
Oh my God, yes.
So Randy's sitting there, he's like, oh my God, a volcano. And all that music plays like the stab. Dun, 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 dun.
It's the Scuttlebutt episode, isn't it?
Yeah, and he just, Scuzzlebutt.
Scuzzlebutt, thank you.
Yeah, he just fucking... Like no reaction, like just dead ass. That's Dr. Dan Chalice right there. Dan is
like, well, I guess it's another day at the hospital. Let's go back inside.
Well, another day, another exploding car. So once again, his ex-wife partner thing is calling him, bugging him at his fucking job. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I really got to go. And she won't let him fucking go. And he's like, somebody just died. Somebody just blew themselves up in the parking lot and killed a man here. A man died here.
I feel like this woman just does not appreciate what her husband does.
She probably got a side piece.
Oh, Lord.
But you were laughing your ass off at the fucking costuming in this.
Oh my God. Yes, I almost forgot. He's talking to his wife on the phone, and there's like a fireman talking to a police officer in the background. And I love catching these goofy little details with like costuming or small inconsistencies or what have you. But the policeman's hat, it looks like a real like hat, but it looks like they took like a piece of felt and put a number on it and tried to like tape it to the front of his hat, because every time this guy is talking and moves his head in the slightest, that little thing is going boing like right at the top of it. And I was just losing my shit laughing at this. It really took the piss out of it for me.
It's the letter F.
Is it? I thought it was the number 1. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's the letter F because it looks like F for fireman.
F for fireman.
More, it's like F in the chat.
Audience is fucking stupid.
They probably do. Hey, everybody out there, F's in the chat right fucking now. F's in the comment section for this utter failure of a fucking costume piece, because holy fuck.
What if he was just a stripper in the wrong place at the wrong time?
He wandered onto the wrong set that day, and they're like, dude, fuck it, stay here. We need a fireman because somebody blows up.
You'll make it look like we're doing our job. That's fine.
What is this, like less than 15 minutes in, maybe 10?
Yeah, I think 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, because we're already on to Sunday the 24th. Like immediately.
The days go by quick.
Yeah, Sunday the 24th. Harry's daughter rolls into this fucking hospital. Her name is Ellie Grimbridge, and she's fucking literally half of Dan. Keep in mind, she is half of Dr. Chalice's age. Probably more.
The weird amount of immediate attraction that the doctor is very obviously showing the second that she is on screen. She's literally trying to identify her dead father. And he's looking at her like, oh, fuck. That grieving? That's really fucking attractive. Maybe I could get some in on this.
Yeah, dude, he's just fucking eye fucking her the whole time. And she's like looking on, she's like, I need to see the body. And they're like, man, I don't think you want to let me see the fucking body.
Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
And she's like sobbing in the hallway, and he's peeking his head out, just staring at her. It's fucking creepy. It's
I know, like, yeah,
creepy.
Dr. Chow's like, oh man, she's vulnerable.
I'm telling you, that dude's raking in the puss at that hospital. The way he talks to the nurses,
that's what I was getting at.
Women working with the evidence, abso-fucking-lutely.
That's literally what I was about to get to, because like we're quite legitimately from Sunday the 24th to Wednesday the 27th. There is a 3-day jump right here, like immediately, and it's Dr. Chalice talking to the forensic/coroner, and he's asking her to check the body because he's like, oh, this is really suspicious. People don't just fucking do this. Like, there's no drugs in the system. Blah blah blah. I don't understand it. And she's like, yeah, I'll look into it for you. Immediate jump to Friday the 29th. And I wish I were making this up. The Sunday the 24th, the Wednesday the 27th, and the Friday the 29th happens in a fucking 5-minute span. I am not making this up.
Told you it was fast.
Yeah.
It was a bam, bam, bam.
We are going through a whole week in a matter of minutes. Like the front half of this movie is not really wasting much time setting up the story. And on that Friday the 29th, Dr. Chalice is in a bar, which, I mean, obviously that's his house. So let's be honest. I don't think that he lives anywhere but that bar, because he's definitely not living with his wife.
Absolutely not. And the nurses knew exactly where he would be, because that's what they told the dead man's daughter to go find him if she was looking for him. So there she goes, right off to the bar that she might not even be old enough to drink at.
Yeah. This is where they kind of figure out, hey, let's look into this, right?
Now they're both burning with curiosity. I mean, I would too if it were my dad. I'd want some answers. The doctor just wants to get some puss. So he's like, I'll help her. That's fine.
They go to her dad's shop because Dr. Chalice notices that the Halloween 3 masks are there. And then they kind of deduce that everything is tied to the city of Santa Mira where these are created, right? So it immediately cuts to Dr. Chalice is on a payphone with a 6-pack of Miller High Life. This motherfucker is rolling deep. A 6-pack of Miller High Life on a payphone, telling his ex, his wife, his whatever the fuck that she is, that he is splitting. He is splitting town, and he won't be back for a while. Doesn't say who he's with, but let's just call it like we see it, okay? 5 days, half his age. He is splitting with some chick that he has known for 5 days and that is half of his age with a 6-pack of beer, not a shit ton of clothing, and a car. He's like, I'm going to slay some pussy in a strange town with a strange woman with some fucked up mystery Scooby-Doo bullshit and a 6-pack of Miller High Life. The champagne of beers. This man knows how to fuck and party.
This man does. He do be fucking. He do be fucking.
Let's not count out the fact, like, we're sitting here setting it up like he is being the creep. However, there is a detail later on that you'll understand when we get there, everybody. So Chalice is doing all this like research about the town and having an Irish mask factory and shit like that. And we figure out that the owner is a gentleman by the name of Conal Cochran. Not Colonel Cochran, but Conal, Conal Cochran.
Colonel Cochran, got it.
Yeah, played by Dan O'Hurley. You, our dear listeners, may recognize this man as literally the old man, a.k.a. the head of Omni Consumer Products in 1987's RoboCop.
It was cool to see another familiar face in the film for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him right away. You had to point that out to me, but still, very cool. Another favorite of ours.
Absolutely.
One of the things that you notice right off the bat when they're like driving through the town and like scoping it out and whatnot, there are cameras absolutely everywhere around this town. And you find out that the man who created the company, who creates the Silver Shamrock masks, also basically built this entire town. And usually when something like that happens, it's the town is being built to house the people that work in the factory. But we find out from a conversation that the doctor has with a local drunken homeless man in the area that's well known, they don't hire anybody in the town to work there. No one has ever actually like been inside and had a job at that factory. Sus as fuck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, naturally, their first thought is we need to go check out that fucking factory.
Yeah, so they stay at the only hotel in town, which I think is hilarious because, like, the way that they talk about it, they're like, oh, cozy, quaint, and the price is right. And it's like, it's the only fucking place in town.
The only option you got, bud. I like how he makes a point to just be like, oh, maybe you should get a separate room. But they've already told people that they're husband and wife at that point, so it would have been suspicious. But of course, they share a bed absolutely immediately.
Yeah, but there's we should also point out there's a lot of characters that show up for this, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody, like, nobody knows how to drive in this movie. And I really mean that because every time that Chalice or Ellie are walking along, they almost get hit by an RV. They almost get hit by a car.
I didn't realize how often that happened to them.
There's no French fries. Like, bumps, people, the fucking parking bumps. I call them French fries because they're mostly painted yellow and look giant fucking French fries. So anyway, there are no French fries to stop these cars from hitting them. One of them rolls in an RV, and I swear to God at first that this was just like Walt and Jesse trying to cook some meth in the desert, rolling up. But it's a family. The bike flies off the front of this fucking thing, and it almost hits Chalice. This family's there for this mask, and a second car almost hits Chalice, and it's a character named Mrs. Gutman. And these characters all come back around, but they're introduced for a reason. But when they stay at this hotel, it's like the seediest looking motel that you could possibly imagine.
It's the equivalent of like a Red Roof Inn.
It's the what?
I cannot speak on a regular basis, okay? It's the equivalent of a Red Roof Inn. Is that better for you?
Yeah, some of the Red Roof Inns are nice, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're garbage. I'm saying it's pretty much the equivalent of, take that as you will. Red Roof Inns where I come from aren't too bad. Red Roof Inns in other areas, like the ones I've seen further down south here, they look like I'd be murdered in my sleep. Let's be real.
What would you give this hotel? Is this like a Motel 6? Like, is this like a 1-star Motel 6, or is this like a 4.5?
It was too well kept for it to be a 1-star. And it had like, you know, like kind of a welcoming aura to it besides the just unnatural weirdness of the town itself. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. Maybe a 2. A 2. It's a 2 out of 5.
It's a solid 2?
A solid toe.
It's a solid 2?
It's a solid 2.
Yeah, so they're staying at this motel. Like you mentioned, they share this room almost immediately and shit, right? So he's like, well, where do you want to sleep? And she's like, well, where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice? And it's like, oh my God, we're really already there. Like, she's hopped out of this fucking shower and everything.
Okay, hold on. The shower. Let's talk about that for just a second. Because that bitch hops right out of the water and wraps a blanket around her dripping body. I immediately got the ick from that. The idea of the texture clinging to my wet skin sounded horrible. She didn't even dry off with a towel.
So we spoke about Dr. Chalice splitting town, 6-pack of Miller High Life. He's fixing a party in this pussy so hard. She has packed lingerie. She straight up is in lingerie by the time they're laying down. And it's like, oh, you were both fucking perverted as shit. You got daddy issues like a motherfucker. And this dude's like, man, my wife is boring as shit. I need some young poon to fucking...
Poon, please. That immediately flashed me back to the Pooniverse, and I hate it. This is why I hate that.
Yeah. So our last episode was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, setting up the Pooniverse, aka the twisted... Don't look it up. You don't even fucking look it up. Who gives a fuck? I can't remember. It's the Pooniverse. It's so much easier to remember, and it's fucking hysterical.
It's gonna haunt me forever.
Good. I hope it does. This motherfucker is about to jump in his own Pooniverse, though. So like, it's really like quote tasteful, but then it's not very tasteful at the same time. It kind of gets the ick. We get Jamie Lee Curtis in a cameo as the town voiceover that is giving the 6 p.m. curfew announcement, and all these cameras are around, and Chalice, being the fucking drunk that he is like, man, I need some fucking alcohol. And he runs into that dude. Remember, he runs into the fucking homeless guy, or the dude that's just kind of out and about. He's the town drunk.
Yeah.
It's like town drunk, meet town drunk. And he's that fucking dude is like, I don't have any diseases. Can I have a drink?
But that's the dude that gives him the down low on all the information about the town. So it does fill in some blank spots for the viewers, at least.
Yeah, because that's the one that really explains, like what we were mentioning earlier about how, like, oh shit, nobody gets hired in this fucking town, and like
they're listening to everything you say, all your conversations.
They know what you're doing, where you're at all times, keeping tabs.
And he starts going off on Cochran, really hating on that guy, basically being like, screw you, he would never hire me anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm not afraid. They have nothing they can take away from me. Except his ability to breathe, apparently.
And his fucking head.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, so this guy winds up getting confronted by the suits. I'm just going to call them the suits because it's a bunch of these fuckers in suits. And it's Dick Warlock, right? He's the leader of these fucking suits. And this guy's a squirter. He gets his head ripped right off and just... Yeah. But it cracks me up because the blood is almost... It's thin. It's so thin that the red looks orange. Which is strange because these fuckers, we'll get to their fluids later.
I don't like the way you said that.
I'm going to say it again. We're going to get to their fluids later. So Ellie runs into Mrs. Gutman, and Mrs. Gutman is like, oh, I'm here for the masks because, like, fuck ordering these things and waiting for them to be delivered. We have to come here now.
They do also make a point in showing that the other family who has the intention of visiting the factory because they run a store that sells the masks, has a kid with them who is brandishing a mask the entire time, every scene he's in.
Yeah, that's the kid that rolled in with the RV family.
Yes.
Chalice finds the phone at the front desk, and that's when he calls the coroner, remember? Because he's just like, oh, hey, I need you to run a name for me. It's Connell Cochran. Forgot to mention after they fuck. How old are you again?
Oh, yeah, that was a weird moment.
Yeah, because like
he waited till after the fact.
I got like a little bit of the timeline mixed up because like they didn't fuck until after like a lot of what we just spoke about, because when Mrs. Gutman goes to lay in her room with the mask or whatever, the Silver Shamrock logo piece falls off the mask and onto the floor. There's like this loud crash because Mrs. Gutman gets nailed by the fucking misfiring laser piece that's supposed to shoot through the mask, and her face gets so fucked up.
She was fucking with it with a bobby pin, I think, in the bed. And does the commercial play at that point? Or does the pin just...
The pin just misfires.
Okay, yeah, and it just laser beams her right in the fucking face.
Yeah, so the makeup effect was really well done on this. In fact, I should point out the makeup effects in this entire film are done very well. Her face is so ruined, though. Like, the lips are singed and busted up and peeled back, and her teeth are fucked up. Her eyes are like, the lids are gone of her eyes, and there's bugs crawling out of her throat and shit.
Yeah, it was pretty wicked. It was a really, really good scene, though. That's probably one of my favorite bits, actually, that they show.
Yeah, because when that happens, you just hear this crash, and Ellie is like straddling Chalice, and she's like, "Oh, what was that?" And he goes, "Who cares? Slap my knob." He doesn't say that in the second part, but I mean, let's be honest. He was thinking, he's like, "Who cares?" And he just goes back in. The only nudity we get in this entire movie is Tom Atkins' ass.
Tom Atkins.
It is Tom Atkins. Askin Robbins, even. But Ellie and Dr. Chalice wind up seeing her body getting taken away. They see Marge's body getting wheeled away, and they're like, well, what's going to happen to her? And Cochrane's just like, oh, she's going to be fine. We have the finest doctors in the area. We're going to take her to our laboratory. That's where they're at. And it's like, well, why the fuck would you take her to your laboratory? Who doctors there?
That's automatically just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
We should point out this all happens in a day, because it immediately jumps to Saturday the 30th, exactly 1 week later from starting this movie, right?
And 1 day away from Halloween.
Yeah. So the coroner that Chalice got a hold of says there's no evidence that ever warranted a body actually existing from the car explosion, that it's just like
car parts
and rust.
Metal, twisted bits of metal.
So they actually visit the factory formally. And we find out that it's not just them visiting the factory, but it's like all these people that have come to town are getting the factory tour, like the old factory tour. Cochrane's going to show up, put his cameo in, and be like, hey, this is our factory. Hey, you little boy, I'm giving like you and everybody here that's here for a mask repair, like a mask on the house, blah, blah, blah. Like we're going to make it happen. We're making Halloween happen for everybody, right? Connell Cochran may as well just be called Killy Wonka.
Killy Wonka?
Yeah, man, this is his fucking chocolate factory of horror. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, a.k.a. Killy Wonka and the Cochran Factory. That's the name of this fucking movie.
That's beautiful.
You're very welcome for that. But anyway, reluctantly, Ellie and Chalice get invited onto this tour, and they're seeing how these masks are being made. Well, long story short, she sees her dad's vehicle in the back of this factory, and she goes to make a run for it, and then she gets surrounded by suits.
It's very intimidating, actually. They just kind of stand there silently and stare at her and block her vision.
I mean, did they stare at her harder, or did Chalice stare at her harder at the fucking hospital?
Is it really even staring anymore if you're just not looking at anything else? He's just locked in. He's got eyes on the prize at all times. Bro forgot he had kids. He's looking to make another one.
That's so bad, too, because like if you really think about it, he probably is, man, fuck these kids. Fuck this wife. Fuck these kids. So Cochrane is seeing all this happen and gets even more suspicious, right? So like Ellie and Chalice are planning to call like the police or the cops or whatever, but they really can't reach anybody because nothing. But meanwhile, every time anything is happening, it's either on the radio or the TV or something. The Silver Shamrock commercial is playing non-fucking stop.
Pretty much anytime they have a scene where there's a television in the background or something along those lines, you're hearing that little ditty.
Even the radio.
Yep, even the radio.
So Ellie gets kidnapped by the suits. And this is where Chalice gets chased by them, and they bust up the doors of the hotel. And you got to think, man, how many times have they replaced these fucking doors? It's like they build them cheaply, purposefully. That way they can just like, and fucking just bust in. So they're like that Big Bird meme. You know the one I'm talking about?
I know exactly. Just the kicking, yeah. It's literally just like plywood with a doorknob. The locking mechanism doesn't even work, but they don't need to know that.
Halloween 3 Season of the Latch, and then fucking kick this shit open. There is no fucking latch on this door. So they chase him all the way to the Cochran factory, and he finds this old woman knitting, and he's like, I need to talk to this bitch, but it's a fucking robot. And that's when Dick Warlock shows up, and he yoinks Chalice into this room, yeeting him into all these boxes. Like, it's... If you've ever seen this movie and no context, just see this dude get tossed out of frame, into the frame, boxes everywhere. It's a little humorous, like the way it happens. But Chalice winds up punching him through the stomach, and it's like it's frozen orange juice. Like this dude is just like all this
gurgling it out of
juice.
His mouth.
Yeah,
all this juice. His life, his essential life fluids.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said we're gonna get into these guys' fluids later. This because, bro, Chalice is like, I don't discriminate. I get up in anybody's guts.
Straight up.
And this is where we start getting that weird version of the original Halloween theme with the synthesizers and stuff, because Cochrane brings him to this headquarters, basically like this giant lab or this just open area where all these people are assisting in what the plan is going to be. And he shows him a preview, and the family with the RV are being brought to this room. And Cochran looks at Chalice and he's like, hey, we're going to have like a preview of what the fuck I'm about to do to your entire town and literally everybody else around the states.
I think it literally says testing room A on the door.
And this is on Sunday the 31st. We should point that out. Like it is happened
Halloween
overnight
at this point. Yeah.
So Cochran's explaining the robots and he's like, oh, it's convincing, right? Yeah. He's like, so this is Stonehenge. This is where we get all of our power. The energy is drawn from this.
He literally has an imported rock from Stonehenge in his laboratory. I almost said laboratory again.
Laboratory.
Like I did earlier, damn it. In his laboratory, and all these monitors and computers just in like a circle in front of Stonehenge with all these androids working on the computers. So there's clearly something going on. I think he goes on to explain it right after that.
That's pretty much it. He's like, yeah, so this is where we get all of our powers from. You're about to watch what this is doing, and they showed the giveaway commercial with the silver shamrock, and the kid puts his pumpkin mask on, and holy shit.
That kid, he got it worse than anybody else, I think.
The final processing control room is what they fucking call it. It's the big giveaway. Mm-hmm. Watch.
Which final processing, I think that was literally, all the chips have a piece of Stonehenge in it. That's how they all activate, right?
They're just microchips with the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the masks are activated by the microchips, and it basically gives the victim brain damage and releases like a swarm of insects and snakes and all kind of shit that will kill anybody that's like surrounding this person, which fuck that, because it was a fucking goddamn diamondback rattlesnake.
Yeah, there was a rattlesnake. There was a couple garter snakes, I think a rat snake, and then the rattlesnake came out and I was like, oh, that's a nope rope, actually. The first batch, I think, were just crickets coming out of his mouth. Still disgusting to watch because the mask itself is also decaying around the child's head. It's a really good effect, actually. It looks goopy and gross and old.
It looks like a real rotting pumpkin.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rattlesnake bites the dag's shin. The mom basically has a stroke and falls over, but she's shown with snakes on her afterwards, too. It was definitely a good little death scene, I thought, with the kid in particular. Violence against children is like probably the biggest theme in this movie, I would say.
Right. I think that's in a way why it's one of the darkest Halloween films, truthfully. So Cochran is taking Dan into this room, ties him up, puts a mask on him, and explains, like, you want to know how we're doing what we're doing? He points out that the wife of the family that just got killed made actually a really good point in the room, is that, oh, is this the joke or whatever? And Cochran literally is like, yeah, this is. Yeah, it's the joke on the children.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm going to give you the rundown of what he says, and then I'm going to give you the too long didn't read version, okay?
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Okay, so he's basically like, well, we're going to resurrect the ancient rituals from our native Celtic lands, Samhain. He's pretty much like, we're bringing the tradition back, because the last great Halloween was when the streets ran red with the blood of the children.
They're just like, let's sacrifice the innocents.
Absolutely. Why not? Because the movie's called Season of the Witch for a reason. This man is quite literally bringing a witchual.
A witchual.
Yeah. I was going to say witch ritual, and I was like, no, just call it a witchual, because that's fucking funny.
It's the witching hour, so time for the witchual.
Time for the witchual. We're going to sacrifice the children at Samhain. It's a pagan tradition celebrating the coming of winter. Literally what this is. Now, I'm going to give you guys out there, and I'm going to give you, Lee, also the too long didn't read version of this. So Connell Cochran's plan is fuck them kids.
Which, I mean, brilliant plan, all things considered, using like just massive output of advertising with these cool masks for kids around the best time of the year for it. Yeah, that was a pretty surefire way to get like every American kid watching the television at the same time with those fucking things on their head.
Can we talk about Dr. Chalice's reactions to all this shit as it's happening, please?
I remember laughing at it when we were watching it, because this man just silently raises both of his fists and shakes them and tilts his head back a little bit, and it's just the most comical reaction I could think of.
It's like Tommy Wiseau in The Room.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought.
He's like, the children,
You sound a little bit like Schwarzenegger. With
well,
that
kind of. Well, me. Don't mask me, motherfucker. Seriously, that's what he said. He's like, don't mask me, mother fucker. So the coroner is trying to call about this fucking accident.
She was like staring at the parts and then something just clicked with her. So she was like, fuck.
One of the suits actually shows up.
Dun, dun, dun,
There is danger afoot. This is not a drill, people.
It's funny you say that. I'm pretty sure this particular suit sneaks up into her office space with a metal drill bit in his hand.
Oh, he grabs a full power drill.
It's a full power drill, yeah, and he just drills a hole right into her head, and you see her body, like, tremble. I do have kind of a thing with off-screen kills. I like to see the effects. I want to be horrified. So when they show stuff off screen like that, I get a little bit, you could have shown me the scary stuff. But it's still well done with the camera angle and everything. It gives it like a sinister silence to it, that it happens so quickly, so quietly, and it's very violent.
I think they did a good job with the Foley department. That's the Foley
absolutely.
department did fucking amazing in the whole movie.
The score and the sound design were both good for the movie.
Yeah.
I definitely can't complain about that.
But yeah, Cochran leaves Chalice in this room, and he's just like, oh, nah, just be sure to, stay tuned for the big giveaway. Like, he literally is just pitching him this entire thing. He's like, oh, the movie's on at 9. Make sure you stay for the big giveaway. Oh, and Dr. Chalice, happy Halloween. It's like, dude, this motherfucker. The movie is actually the original Halloween. That's the movie they are playing for the big giveaway.
Which was hilarious, by the way. I loved seeing that throwback, the acknowledgement in universe that is an existing movie within the universe.
Right.
I just thought that was very funny. And that's the other thing I allude to when I'm like, technically he's in the movie. You get a little glimpse of Michael in a commercial.
Yeah. But Chalice actually breaks free, and he finds Ellie. And they go back to that control center. Chalice finds a box full of these silver shamrock pins, and he has the idea to switch, because he sees how this all happens whenever they give him the free preview of what's about to happen. He sees how they activate the machine and all the pendants. So he does this sneakily, I might add. And then he goes up and he cascades all of these pins in the circle of televisions as everybody is trying to get the watch off of the TV.
He's like in a rafter in the ceiling or something like that.
Yeah. And they all get fucking killed. Not a Scottish kilt, but they killed. Yeah.
The special effects, shall we say, of the Stonehenge pins reminds me very much of the special effects they used in Back to the Future for the car. That really animated electric blue lightning strike kind of look.
See, I was thinking Tron.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too.
It just, because Cochran looks up at him as this is all happening. Because, again, Cochran is one of those people. He's one of those villains that, he's got this master plan, but he actually appreciated the genius of what Chalice just did, because he actually looks up and gives him a very,
the slow
clap, you fucking got me. You fucking got me, dude.
And he's just close enough to the badges and Stonehenge itself to also get zapped into oblivion.
Oh, he got sucked into the grid.
He got he was petrified. It turned into I guess it looked like plaster, really. Could have been a little bit better, in my opinion.
They digitally Han Solo'd his ass.
He basically got turned into a piece of Stonehenge and then got blasted into the nether. It's the part after that really makes me start rolling laughing again.
Yeah, so Ellie and Chalice escape this exploding factory, and they get away in the car. It isn't until now that we realize that Ellie has been replaced as a robot, which is strange because you would think that she would have attacked him during all of this shit or whatever, but she doesn't. It's like they saved that for the big reveal at 9.
It wasn't in the script.
Yeah, no shit, right?
She was the finale.
Yeah, she grabs the steering wheel and they crash into a tree. The way they fucking crash is so goddamn hysterical.
It was really ridiculous.
Because just they hit the tree, the trunk pops open, the door flies open, and he just
barrel rolls out.
No, he stands up and falls on his ass.
Is that what I could remember?
It's just funny. He's just
completely unfazed for the most part by the wreck itself.
Her arm gets fucking torn off. You can see it.
Yeah, there's just like wires sticking out and spurting out the orange juice fluids.
Well, he sees it on the door and he's like, what the fuck? And then he turns around and she grabs him with her one good arm. She's Rick Allen from Def Leppard at this point. This is the funniest part to me. This is the most Looney Tune bullshit, Acme, Wile E. Coyote fuckery. She grabs him. And he's like, fucking throws her off. Like, he hits her, right? He knocks her fucking head off with the tire
Blasts
iron.
her mannequin head right off, yeah.
Then her headless body comes back to grab him again.
And her severed arm in the car. We were literally counting how many, quote, jump scare moments happened between the wreck of the car and the end of the movie. And it was just every time they played that very dramatic music, it was funny. It was definitely laughable in that moment.
Right, because you're like, oh man, it's over. Oh my God, no, it's not. Oh man, it's over. Oh my God, no, it's not. It's right out of Wayne's World. Wait a minute. No.
It actually almost reminded me of, Chucky, like towards the end of the Chucky movie, just not as well done. Like it was way more humorous instead of like actually terrifying.
Yeah. So Dan finally gets to Walter's gas station from the very beginning of the film as trick-or-treaters are showing up. And it's almost 9 o'clock. It's almost time for the big giveaway.
He keeps checking his watch frantically.
The Silver Shamrock commercial comes on and Chalice is frantically calling the local television station that runs the channels for this area. And he's like, I don't have any proof. You just have to believe me. Everybody that has one of these masks are in danger and there will be deaths. There will be like children killed.
Tell them it's a bomb. Tell them anything. Yeah.
So he gets 2 of the channels off, but then this third one, and we're at the end of the movie, guys. So like, to me, this is probably the most bleak ending ever because it's ambiguous. He's screaming, stop it, into the phone for them to stop this commercial.
Stop it. And oh my gosh, I love the build up there. The genuine fear that you feel like he's got in his voice as he's screaming, that is great.
Yeah, because like he sees these kids, there's kids right there in front of him and his own children have these masks. So like all of that is going through his head, which I know he's probably, fuck those kids, but he's like, I gotta be the hero. But it cuts to black and it goes right to the score and you're left not knowing what the fate is. However, I can confirm the novelization of this movie, so many kids fucking died. So many fucking kids died.
Confirmed bad ending.
And good, honestly. I'm so tired of fucking movies that have, oh man, we got a good resolve to this. No, dude, fucking kill them all.
Right. Kill the kids. Jesus Christ.
What?
Away with ye brats.
I'm dead ass, man. Like, Cochran had it right. He looked at all these fucking children and said, failure.
Oh, ripperoni. I really like, whether it's a horror movie or whatever genre, I like it when stories go with the bad ending. Because it's, first of all, it's way more realistic. Second of all, it is genuinely scarier most of the time. And I think it's important to have a balance of both. Not everything's going to be a happy ending, especially not a horror film. It really leaves you sitting with it at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So some small production notes about this. I want to talk about the masks very briefly because I actually really enjoy these a lot. I think that you can see them right now on our cover art for this episode. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, you can see that right there. It's the Dayglow Jack-O-Lantern, the glow-in-the-dark skull, and then a lime green witch. These were all latex masks that were created by Don Post of Post Studios. Don Post is actually the guy that created the mask for the Shape in Halloween 2.
Oh, okay. You want to explain who the Shape is for people who might not know that reference?
Okay, if you don't know who the Shape is quite literally what Michael Myers is credited as in the Halloween films. He's not called Michael Myers. He's literally credited as the Shape.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. That's way more intimidating.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be the embodiment of pure evil and darkness. So he doesn't, like, he's so evil he has no name.
Right.
So I like that they still went with somebody that worked on Michael Myers masks to make these masks, and they look fucking great. The Skull and Witch masks, I want to point out, the Skull and Witch were actually just copies of standard Post Studios masks, so it was masks from his studio, but he created the Jack-O-Lantern mask specifically for this movie.
And these masks have made appearances in a lot of other films as well.
I was just about to point that out. Not only have they made appearances in other movies, they actually come back around in Halloween Kills.
That's a 2018 one, I think, right?
Which is a nice cameo. It's a nice nod to let people know, hey, man, This movie needs love too, because it's pretty fucking good.
They have not. I like that they haven't tried to bury it or separate it from everything else. It's been embraced at this point as just a cult sliver of this series, and we see it living and breathing in other things.
We'll also point out the filming location took place in Loleta, California. Familiar Foods, a milk bottling plant, was the Silver Shamrock factory. But they actually filmed all the effects, like the smoke and the fire and explosions at Post Studios. It should be noted that Joe Dante, who was originally asked to be the director of this movie, brought in a sci-fi writer, a British sci-fi writer named Nigel Neal, to co-write this screenplay, mostly because they like his Quatermass series, and they basically liked that his script was not, quote, horror for horror's sake.
Sure.
And he wanted to write a story to do with deception, psychological shock, and weirdly enough, Dino De Laurentiis, who worked on Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, and Army of Darkness, or they had him release these movies, or like through his studios. He owned the distribution rights to this film and was like, no, it needs more graphic violence and gore. So they kind of shoehorned some of that in there.
I like how someone who worked on 3 of our other favorite horror movies are involved as well.
Well, Tommy Lee Wallace, who got brought in to direct this, as we mentioned earlier, was given a task to revise the script because he was co-writer on some of the other stuff that, he's worked on with John Carpenter. And he pretty much was just like, look, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wanted to make this more of like an anthology, kind of like the Twilight Zone or like Night Gallery, and that every year a new movie would get released and focused on a different aspect of the Halloween season, which is really what this was supposed to be. And this was supposed to be a pod movie, not a knife movie, and that it was inspired by Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And in fact, the Season of the Witch title is actually taken directly from George Romero's second film, Season of the Witch.
I think they were also hoping that with each individual anthology that they created as part of that universe, that it would spawn its own sequels, prequels, or whatnot along the way. But I don't think we got anything like that for this, and we probably won't, but I am fine with it sitting as is. This movie also had an insane amount of competition that year because it was Creepshow, Friday the 13th Part 3, and Poltergeist all came out that year, which, I mean, really big names in terms of horror. So understandable why this one was a little bit more underfoot than the others. But we love it just the same. For me, this was a 3.5 out of 5 personally. I enjoy it. I love watching it every year. We've already watched it 3 times since September. So
yeah, this one's a 3.75 out of 5 for me. This is honestly top 3. For my, if I'm putting all of the Halloween films like in a ranking position, this lands in the top 3 for me, for sure. And I know that is probably going to be a very hot take for most of our listeners. Well, I say most of our listeners. I'm trying to give you guys out there the benefit of the doubt and think that like most of you out there probably appreciate movies like this, a reappraisal, I should say. However, I am going to point out your sister, who infamously has shit takes on some of the best fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. And we have a rating scale.
We do. We have a Lauren rating scale. So shout out to my sister Lauren, who was all too happy to shit on this movie with me earlier on the phone. It was quite hysterical. But Lauren delivers a grand 2 out of 5 for this one.
A 2 out of 5 Laurens?
A 2 out of 5 Laurens, yes. She originally gave it a 1.5, and after we harassed her a little bit, she's like, fine, we'll give it a 2.
And then was being nice. I'll give it a 2.5. And I was like, yeah, that's a good middle of the road. And you know what I think is hilarious? I'm giving it a 2.5 at Lauren's out of Lauren's because I know that motherfucker. I love you, Lauren. I know that motherfucker is sitting there like, oh, God damn it. I thought they meant out of 10.
You know what? She might have. If we're comparing that to our rating scale, yeah.
Pretty much. Too bad you gave us your rating, and that's what it was out of.
It's too late.
Suck it.
Thank you, sister. I love you.
Yeah.
It's good to have some balancing opinions, if not just to listen to, even if we don't agree. I would love to hear y'all's opinions on this as it was intended as an anthology series. It's a shame that we're never going to get to see that. Because obviously we haven't had a sequel to this movie or anything like that. I am also perfectly okay with it staying as is, as a singular cult film at this point.
Yeah, it works best as a standalone. It is, It's both a, oh shit, this is a, let's learn from a mistake, but I wouldn't call this movie a mistake.
No. It was divulgence in direction, but not a mistake.
A lot of people gave it negative reviews at the time of release, which obviously I think people were not ready at the time to both see something that departed from what brought it to the dance, and also it's anti-capitalism, it's anti-children, anti-television, and anti-Irish all at the same time. Like, legitimately, that's what the New York Times fucking said.
And a fantasy sci-fi crossover like that, because technically it is witchcraft and body snatching with androids. So it is a fantasy sci-fi. It was an interesting combination for the time, for sure.
But yeah, I don't think people were ready for that at this time, because while it is what it is as far as a horror movie, I do think that retroactively speaking, it is very smart. It is a very smart horror film because it does kind of play into that anti-capitalism, anti-corporate shit.
Absolutely.
It's not on the nose, which I do appreciate, but it's borderline satire. Like, the whole idea of the Silver Shamrock commercial itself is very satirical. It's quite literally brainwashing you. Like, like the kids are like, oh, fuck yeah, these masks. Oh, fuck yeah, the big giveaway at 9. Fuck yeah, put these masks on. Oh, fuck, we're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what a process.
So yeah, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch opened in almost 1,300 theaters in the United States on October 22nd, 1982, and earned an estimated $6.3 million in its opening weekend. It wound up grossing $14.4 million in the United States, but again, was the worst performing Halloween at the time, with approximately 4.8 million domestic tickets sold during its initial release. And like we mentioned just a minute ago, it underperformed against Poltergeist, Friday the 13th Part 3, and Creepshow. But yeah, Halloween 3 is still, to me, holds up. It's one of my favorite movies. I watch it every year, and guess what? I fucking own the soundtrack on vinyl, and will be spinning that son of a bitch all month long. For past, present, and future episodes of Cult Macabre, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on this video, or leaving a comment down below. Any engagement helps. And if you'd like to follow us on our social media platforms, you can literally find us at The Cult Macabre on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Or if you'd like to visit anywhere else on the internet we can be found, all of this information can be found in our Linktree link in the show notes below.
And if you'd like to join us for more of pop culture's dark side, sign the black book and join the cult. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
And we'll see you next time.